Don't wait until it's too late. Arthur Schopenhauer's Quotes on avoiding regret in old age. Most of the time, people take advantage of you when saying you're better at something than they are. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. The business of the novelist is not to relate great events, but to make small ones interesting. Compassion for animals is so closely related to kindness of character that it is safe to say that he who is cruel to animals cannot be a kind person. Sociability of people is not based on love for society, but on the fear for loneliness. Shortness of life, so often lamented, may be the best thing about it. We can regard a life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. Don't tell your friend what your enemy shouldn't know. Mostly it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things. Health so far outweighs all other blessings of life that a truly healthy beggar is happier than a sick king. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. If you have reason to suspect that a person is telling you a lie, look as though you believed every word he said. This will give him courage to go on. He will become vehement in his assertions and, in the end, betray himself. Each person can be completely himself only while he is alone. To get married means to have your rights and double your responsibilities. Hundreds of objects that give people pleasure are boring for a big mind. Politeness is to human nature what warmth is to wax. The clever are not so much looking for loneliness as they avoid the fuzz created by fools. Ordinary people merely think how they shall spend their time. A man of talent tries to use it. Each person can be listened to, but not everyone is worth talking to. Every parting gives a foretaste of death, every reunion a hint of the resurrection. No rose without a thorn, but many a thorn without a rose. The only person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. One should use common words to say uncommon things. Compassion is the basis of morality. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. Living happily means living less unhappy. Reading is thinking with someone else's head instead of one's own. Intellect is invisible to the man who has none. Treat a work of art like a prince. Let it speak to you first. Life is a constant process of dying. It is better to find your mind in silence than in conversation. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. He who does not like loneliness does not like freedom. If they gossip about you, it means that you're not enough, not only for yourself but also for others. If we were not also interested in ourselves, life would be so uninteresting that none of us would be able to endure it. Men are the devils of the earth, and the animals are the tormented souls. Faith is like love. It does not let itself be forced. We seldom think of what we have, but always that of what we lack. Almost all of our sorrows spring out of our relations with other people. We rarely think about what we have, but we always worry about what we don't have. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. If we happen to hear how half a dozen rams scornfully scold an outstanding person, then we will understand that the value of the opinion of people highly will be a lot of honor for them. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. 9/10 of our happiness depends on health. After your death, you will be what you were before your birth. He who writes carelessly confesses thereby at the very outset that he does not attach much importance to his own thoughts. Religion is the masterpiece of the arts of animal training, for it trains people as to how they shall think. Hope is a confusion of the desire for a thing with its probability. People are like watch mechanisms that start and run without knowing why. Great men are like eagles and build a nest on some lofty solitude. So the problem is not so much to see what nobody has yet seen, as to think what nobody has yet thought concerning that which everybody sees. Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. The first 40 years of life give us a text. The next 30 supply the commentary on it. Whoever violated trust once loses its forever. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. A sense of humor is the only divine quality of man. A fool chases pleasure and finds disappointment. A sage only avoids grief. He who has lost all hope has also lost all fear. From the point of view of youth, life is an endless future. From the point of view of old age, it is a very short past. Fate shuffles the cards, and we play. Happiness consists in frequent repetition of pleasure. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. A vain person should know that the good opinion of others, which he so achieves, is much easier and more true to create by silence than by talkativeness. You should be very careful not to form a very favorable opinion about a person at first acquaintance, otherwise in most cases you will have to be disappointed. Such is a lot of great people in the world. They are only recognized when they are not alive.